Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are finally doing a fragrance review. I know the last time I did this type of video was actually ages ago and I feel terrible, but trust me, I'm going to do so much better. And this is just the beginning, and as you can see from the title of the video, we are doing specifically one fragrance right now, and essentially this is what I really want to, this is the direction that I want to move going forth. I really want to narrow things down into focusing on one particular fragrance and just breaking it down, what really matters, what really people would like to know about a fragrance, and essentially what my experience has been with a particular fragrance. I'm going to be breaking down everything from the bottle, meaning the packaging, the actual packaging, my first impression with the fragrance, and we'll obviously get into the ingredients and the performance of the fragrance, which has to do with the projection, the longevity, and of course lastly we'll talk about the price point and when and where to wear this particular fragrance. So that's the direction that we're going to be moving in terms of every perfume or fragrance review. So let's not waste any time. Before I start rambling, let's get right into it. As you can see from the title, today we are specifically focusing on one fragrance, and I have it right here, you guys. This is the Valentino Uomo. Obviously guys, these are foreign terms, so I might not necessarily get the pronunciation correct, but I do believe that it could be either Uomo or Uomo. But this is the fragrance. It is absolutely stunning in my opinion. To speak on the first impression and essentially how I even got into buying this fragrance, I am someone who sometimes does blind purchases when it comes to fragrances, because obviously I don't know exactly what is out there, so I will try myself out depending on maybe a brand that I'm familiar with or just literally trying something out. Valentino is of course a designer brand. It's a design house. It is typically known for fashion, runway looks, and it is essentially a very respected, very type of low-key luxury or designer brand. And so it's very common with designer houses to branch into fragrances. It's something that happens all the time actually. So it's very obvious and very common for you to expect the same type of respect and elegance when it comes to their fragrances. And so when I did come across this fragrance, I was just like, okay, I'm not familiar with their fragrances, but because I'm familiar with the brand and essentially the idea or connotation that it has, I was like, I'm gonna try it out. Funny thing is that I actually had tweeted just for confirmation if anyone really rated Valentino when it comes to fragrances, and someone actually responded, someone I actually do watch. She's also a YouTuber. Her name is As Told by Pamela. She was like, it's a thumbs up. So I was really glad that this is a good purchase. Its first impression blew my mind. Okay, I remember when it arrived in the Take a Lot box, the second I opened that box, this fragrance was like, hi, nice to meet you, I have arrived, I am here. And the funny thing is that I also had bought another fragrance, but this one was like, child, I am present and I'm going to make my presence known. Let's talk about the packaging. You guys can see the packaging. It is absolutely stunning. You know, it's giving very like mature. Honestly guys, maybe I'm thinking outside of the box, but this really reminds me of a whiskey glass. You know, those glasses where, you know, okay, I'd say men, because men are typically associated with whiskey or like brown liquor, but usually when men are having whiskey, they always have it in like these spiky thick glasses. And when I saw this, I literally just got this idea of like whiskey, maturity, masculinity, expensive, elegance, and that's essentially what is inside this box. The packaging really spoke for itself. I actually like to put it right on my mirror tray because that's how beautiful it is. I also really like the fact that it doesn't have a lid. I am someone who does sometimes. There are a few fragrances that I own that don't have lids, and I know that's very careless or irresponsible of me, but I actually love the convenience that this doesn't have a lid, so you literally just grab and go. Typically I would advise that you buy a much smaller bottle of a fragrance that you're not really familiar with. That's just my tip, but I had done my research. So now that we have touched on first impression and packaging, let's talk about the ingredients. I think this is the most crucial part when it comes to exploring a fragrance. I will say though that I'm not really a whiz when it comes to knowing about the making of a fragrance and essentially like all the spices. I might not typically know what the spices and the fabrics that have been included, like I won't know everything down to the T, but I can express what my impression is from what I can obviously smell. So I'm just gonna give one hit over there. I like to do that so that it settles. I want to really break this down, and this will basically express what my favorite parts are about this particular fragrance. When it first hits, like the first glance, that first, you know, scent, that first experience of this fragrance is very sweet. It's giving like citrus, fresh, and it can easily draw you in because of the sweetness. But literally it's been like what, 2 seconds or 3 seconds since I've spritzed this, and that sweetness has subsided. It gradually fades, and then you get more an introduction of a more warm, masculine, mature type of tone. You go from the citrus, fruity element, and then you branch into more of a woody, leather, chocolate, hazelnut. Hearing those ingredients, it's definitely giving you something that's more elegant, something that's more rich, and just really warm. I am someone who loves a masculine scent. Like I love a masculine fragrance, and the fact that this is very dimensional, that it takes you on a journey essentially. So you go from that sweet tone, and then you eventually get into the musky, mature, elegant, you know, more rich tone, and that's something that I really love about this particular fragrance. I will say that it's not very spicy, which is something that I'm not really mad about, and because it's a masculine fragrance, it can be considered as unisex. I won't lie, I would honestly say that mostly it's men who would draw closer to this particular fragrance, but it all boils down to what your preference is. I know the last time I bought a guy a fragrance, I think it was like a Cartier cologne, but I can't really remember the specific kind. Child, I used to wear that. Okay, like I would have times where I'm over at his place and I would just whip it out and wear it myself, because I'm someone who enjoys masculine fragrances. But hey, it's all about your preference. But for me, this is something that I really fell in love with. It's also giving like a very expensive, I mean, if you're speaking of elegance, it's very common that you will associate that to like wealth or old money, and this fragrance gives me sort of that type of energy. It's very like, I'm a grown person, like I'm grown, okay, and I love that element. Let's talk about the performance, because I can say that that's something that's quite crucial to a lot of people. In terms of performance, let's first start to talk about the projection, because that's typically what most people will really consider when it comes to purchasing a fragrance. Now, this particular fragrance, it doesn't have the best projection. It is not something that you walk into the room and you're familiar with, or you can really, it doesn't hit you in the face, okay, which is not typically a bad thing. It does, once again, depend on your preference. I'm someone who's not really fussy about that. Actually, I have fragrances that do have big personalities, and it does sometimes irritate me, because, you know, if I'm wearing this fragrance, I don't want to wake up tomorrow and still have that, you know, lingering scent. So I actually love that this just settles into the skin, and the closer obviously that you get, you are going to get your compliments, child, because I actually do get a lot of compliments with this fragrance. But it's always also, it's always when people draw closer to me. It's not something that I walk into the room and they say, oh wow, that girl smells good. So if that is something that is fussy to you, then I wouldn't advise you to buy it. Actually, I would advise you to buy it just to give it a shot, but I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't have the best projection. Longevity. Now, does this fragrance last? Okay, I would say that this gives me more of an average performance. Like, it's not something that you will wake up tomorrow and still get, you know, a hint of. I would say 3 to 4 hours. Some people have said 6 to 7. I do think that's very ambitious. For me, this is something that I wouldn't say touch up with it. If you do want to, I advise you to do so, but it is going to wear out, so you might need to touch up, freshen up, if that is something that really matters to you. Obviously, if you want to smell good, you want to smell good the whole day, okay? So you can carry this in your purse, child, and freshen up. But I won't lie, if performance and longevity is something that's really crucial for you, then you might not be too impressed with this one, because it does not, I mean, 3 to 4 hours, child. It's reasonable though. Like, it is reasonable. 3 to 4 hours, you might be out for a dinner date. It is gonna carry well for the period of your dinner date. So don't panic. Like, this is not typically a bad. Let's talk about the price point. Okay, now this is a 75 milliliter bottle. So I will say, I typically buy fragrances, because guys, I won't lie, fragrances are a bit steep or pricey. It is more of a luxury than a necessity. So you are really, you know, digging a little bit deeper into your pockets. And the further you go, the more of a luxury brand you work with. If you're buying into something that's very popular, it might become pricier. So what I do is look out for discount codes. If there's promotions running, that's where you will find me. I'm not someone who's, actually, I have very few fragrances that I've bought, you know, from the original price. So I will obviously tag where I bought this fragrance in the description box, but I will also say that I bought it when it was on discount. It could still be, like, I don't know, it could still be, but I bought this for around 800 rand, just above 800 rand. It wasn't, which is a great deal in my opinion, because this is a big bottle. This is something that can keep you going for a couple of months, especially if you have a collection. Then you could have this for over a year, okay? It depends on how, you know, you play around with it. So the price point, I think, is also quite reasonable. Like I said, this is a big bottle, but I don't think you should be paying anything over a K. You should not be paying like 2 grand. I mean, if you do want to, if the original price of this fragrance is like ranging 2,000 rand to 1.5, I would not buy this. I'm not gonna lie. But because it was on promotion and it was about 800 rand, like 850 or something like that, I was like, I'm getting it, like I am purchasing it, and I do not regret it at all. Okay, like I said, I will link where I bought this fragrance down in the description, so cross fingers that it's still on sale. I usually buy my fragrances from Take a Lot and Superbalist or Forshini Beauty. I will say though that with Take a Lot, you have to really be someone with, you know, a critical eye, because there are dupes there. Like it could happen that you see a fragrance, it is on sale, but it really isn't the original, and I would really advise you guys to avoid that. So really make sure that you read the reviews, make sure that this is the original fragrance. I have had an experience with a fragrance that I bought there and it just wore out very strange, and even the color started changing, and I was like, no, this is definitely a dupe. So I don't want you guys to make those mistakes, which is why I advise you guys to make sure that you read the reviews. And let's talk about when and where are you wearing this fragrance. One thing I can definitely say, as I've mentioned the ingredients, it is more of a warm fragrance, so I definitely advise you to wear this around winter. It is winter now in South Africa, which is perfect for this fragrance, and maybe autumn as well. I do not recommend this for summer at all because it is quite strong and masculine and warm, so it would really clash for a summer season. When it comes to spring, I have the idea that you want to wear really fresh fragrances. As much as this does have a citrus element to it, it really fades out, so I don't recommend that you wear this for summer and spring. Is it an all-round fragrance? Honestly, it is more of a night fragrance, I would say, but I'm not talking about going to the club, I'm not talking about house party, I'm talking about more events, you know, more sophisticated environments. I know this sounds very critical, but hey, if you want the correct atmosphere and tone, it does matter sometimes where you wear a fragrance, because you do want it to perform well, you do want it to be in its comfortable space, which is why I do feel like on a hot summer day you should not be wearing this. I typically don't necessarily wear this at night because it is winter in South Africa, so it doesn't really matter where I wear it, because at the end of the day it just fits perfectly well. It is pretty chilly outside, so this is just very perfect. I wear it for errands as well. Why? Because I feel like this could make a really good everyday fragrance. I think if you really want to project the idea that you like this go-getter, focused person, mature, like ndimdala, like ndimsisi, this can definitely help with that type of identity. Even with men, like if you do want to project a more established identity, like you are someone who is serious about your business, child, this is the fragrance that you could make an everyday fragrance. I don't really think that it's very strict in that you should wear it for a particular event. I enjoy this as an everyday fragrance. I do get a lot of compliments, and I love getting compliments with this particular fragrance because I actually love it myself. So you can wear it, guys, for errands. You can wear it as an everyday you can wear it as an everyday fragrance. Like, it's really up to you. I would definitely rate this in total, maybe I don't want to say a 7, but I'd say a 6.5. Okay, let's give it a 7 actually. Let's just give it a 7 because it is a really great fragrance. I would recommend you purchase this. I don't care if you're a girl, I don't care if you're a guy. If you're into elegant, classy, old money, maturity, musky, masculine, sweet type of scents, then this is perfect for you. Say that there is another variation of this fragrance. This is the Valentino Uomo. There is a Valentino Uomo Intense. Now, I'm not very familiar with that. Just the reviews and what I've heard about it, it does seem more mature and more masculine than what I would prefer. And as much as I love a rich tone, I don't want it to be overbearing, you know. That's it guys for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have anything to share, if you do own this fragrance, I would really love to know what your experience has been with it. And of course, don't shy away from recommending fragrances, you guys. But I will also say though that these things are expensive, so you're just gonna have to give me time to get around purchasing, okay? And don't worry guys, I will be branching into so many different kinds of fragrances. I know that I did share a tweet or an Instagram post regarding my fragrance interest, you know, and a lot of people were asking for like a more affordable alternative or beginner friendly, you know, collection or purchase when it comes to fragrances. Don't worry, I will definitely get around that. So if that is what you wanted to comment down below, don't worry sis, like I've got your back, like I've got your back. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. We've come to the end of the video. I know I often ramble sometimes, but y'all know me. I'll see you guys in my next video. Once again, please subscribe, please like the video and share if you can. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.